Welcome to Zoe Stories. First time I tried my sister's dress, and she caught me. I never thought a simple curiosity could unravel everything I knew about myself. I had always been the quiet one, the kind of boy who lingered at the edges of conversations, head down, notebook open, heart somewhere else entirely. At 20, I was still figuring out who I was, or rather, who I wanted to be, but my life felt stagnant, predictable, and painfully ordinary. It was a rainy Saturday afternoon, the kind where the sky is gray and heavy, and the world outside seems muffled and distant. My sister, Lila, had gone out with her friends, leaving the house silent except for the occasional creak of floorboards and the steady drumming of rain against the window. Her bedroom door was slightly ajar. My eyes lingered for a moment, curiosity teasing me like a whisper. I knew I shouldn't. I really shouldn't. Lila was meticulous, protective of her things, and there was an unspoken rule in our house. Her room was off-limits. Yet something pulled me forward. The room smelled faintly of her perfume, sweet and floral. Sunlight filtered through the curtains, highlighting rows of neatly folded clothes, shoes lined up like soldiers, and the dress hanging in the corner. It was a soft pink, silky and delicate. I froze, heart hammering. The thought that raced through my mind was simple and dangerous. Just for a moment, I knew it was wrong. I knew it could end badly. But my hands reached for the fabric before my brain could catch up. The moment I touched it, soft and smooth under my fingers, I felt a shiver run down my spine. Curiosity morphed into something else, something that felt almost forbidden, almost thrilling. I closed the door quietly behind me, heart pounding in the empty room. Every movement was slow, deliberate. I unzipped the dress, hesitated, then slid it over my arms. The fabric clung softly to my skin. I breathed in sharply as it hugged my shoulders and chest, unfamiliar, but oddly comforting. Looking into her full-length mirror, I saw a reflection that made my stomach twist. It wasn't just the dress. My hair fell forward slightly, my eyes seemed softer, my posture more delicate. For a moment, I almost didn't recognize myself. The boy I had been felt distant, replaced by someone different. I spun slightly, watching the skirt sway. My fingers brushed my lips, tracing the faint smile that had appeared without me realizing. A strange warmth spread through me, a mix of embarrassment, shame, and an undeniable thrill. And then, the sound that would haunt me forever. "What do you think you're doing?" I froze. My body stiffened. Lila stood in the doorway, arms crossed, eyes wide with shock, and then a spark of something I couldn't read. Anger? Amusement? Curiosity? I wanted to see. I stammered, voice cracking. She stepped forward, closing the distance between us. "You tried on my dress?" Her tone was calm, but there was an edge I had never heard before. I nodded, unable to speak. Lila's eyes softened slightly, but only slightly. She leaned closer, tilting my chin up with a finger. "You like it, don't you?" I felt my cheeks burn, heart hammering violently. I wanted to deny it. I wanted to run. But the truth slipped out before I could stop it. I don't know. I think I do." A smile played on her lips, slow, knowing, a little wicked. "Good. That's a start. But if you think this is just a little curiosity, you're wrong. If you want to explore, you're going to do it my way." I blinked, stunned. "Why your way?" "Yes," she said, voice soft but commanding. "You've always been quiet, shy, hesitant. Maybe it's time someone guided you. And I can help you." The words sent a chill through me. Guided me? I wanted to run. I wanted to scream. But another part of me, the part that had shivered under the soft fabric, that had felt the thrill of reflection in the mirror, was already listening, already aching to follow. Lila stepped closer, brushing a strand of hair from my forehead, her gaze locking with mine. "Tomorrow, we begin properly. You'll learn what it means to be seen. And you won't just be trying on my dress anymore." My heart skipped. My mind raced. Fear, excitement, shame, and anticipation collided inside me. I realized in that moment that my life had changed forever. The shy boy I had been was gone, even if I didn't know it yet. As Lila left the room, closing the door softly behind her, I touched the fabric of the dress one more time, whispering to myself, "What am I becoming?" I thought I was just curious, but she had other plans. The next morning, sunlight filtered softly through my window, but I barely noticed. My mind was tangled with the events of the previous night. Lila's eyes, her words, the way she had known, the way she had smiled. When she knocked and entered my room, the weight of authority was immediate. She didn't smile this time. Her eyes were sharp, commanding. "Get up," she said softly, but it carried no room for argument. I obeyed. Heart hammering, palms sweaty. The memory of last night's thrill collided with fear. I wanted to run. I wanted to hide. But another part of me, the part that had felt right in her dress, trembled with anticipation. Lila guided me to her room again. This time, she had laid out a complete outfit on the bed. A light blouse, a flowing skirt, stockings, and a pair of elegant heels. "You'll start small," she said. "We begin with clothing. Then we move to posture, voice, everything. If you want to explore, you follow my instructions." My mouth went dry. I'll try," I whispered. The words felt weak even to me, but they were the only bridge I had to cross into this new world. She helped me into the clothes, step by step. First the stockings, which sent shivers up my legs. Then the skirt, the soft fabric brushing against my skin. Finally, the blouse, light and delicate. Standing in front of the mirror, I froze. I looked different. Softer. Vulnerable. Beautiful. My heart raced. The skirt swayed slightly as I shifted weight, and a strange warmth pooled in my chest. Lila's hand rested lightly on my shoulder. "Look at yourself," she commanded gently. "Really look." I did. And the reflection stared back at me, unfamiliar yet familiar. A boy in a girl's body? Or a girl emerging from a boy? My thoughts stumbled, a jumbled mess of shame, excitement, and a deep, stirring curiosity. "Now walk," she instructed. I faltered immediately. Heels were unfamiliar. My legs wobbled, my balance precarious. Each step felt like a performance, but Lila was patient, correcting gently, nudging my hips, adjusting my posture, coaxing my shoulders back. "Relax," she said softly. "Feel her. She is already inside you. You just have to let her move." My cheeks burned. I felt ridiculous, exposed, humiliated, but a part of me wanted to obey, wanted to move like her. The sensation was intoxicating. Next came voice lessons. Lila instructed me to speak softly, slowly, with a melodic lilt. Every word I tried sounded awkward, high, foreign. But she praised the small successes, her warmth blending with subtle control, making me crave her approval even as I hated my dependence. "You're doing well," she murmured. "See how easy it is when you stop resisting." I swallowed hard, trembling. A part of me was humiliated. Another part thrilled. I stood alone for a moment, studying the reflection. The girl in the mirror was becoming me. Her eyes sparkled with a shy curiosity. Her posture was still tentative but elegant. Her lips curved in a hesitant smile. And I felt a strange, frightening longing to become her completely. A soft knock broke my trance. Lila's voice floated through the doorway. "Tomorrow we go out. Public. No hiding. It's time for her to meet the world." My heart sank. Fear gripped me. Public? Everyone? Yet a part of me quivered with anticipation. The dress, the heels, the reflection, I didn't want to let it go. Alone in the room that night, I held the skirt in my hands. I whispered softly, almost to myself. What am I becoming, and do I even want to stop? The next morning felt impossibly real. Sunlight streamed through the curtains, casting a warm glow over the room, but I barely noticed. My body still ached slightly from yesterday's lessons in heels and posture, but my mind was consumed by anticipation and dread. Lila had already left my room with a sly, knowing smile, and I knew what was coming next. She had arranged for me to step outside the safety of her room, to walk through the world as her, fully visible, fully exposed. My stomach churned. Fear gnawed at the edges of my mind, but beneath it, a strange pulse of excitement coursed through me. I was terrified, and I was ready in some small, twisted part of me. The outfit she had chosen was a soft lavender dress, the fabric flowing lightly over my body. The hem brushed just above my knees, the neckline modest but feminine. Stockings encased my legs, and the heels were higher than I had ever attempted. I dressed carefully, feeling the familiar shiver as the material hugged my skin. Each layer of clothing seemed to pull me further away from the boy I had been. Standing in front of the mirror, I barely recognized myself. The girl staring back was delicate and soft, eyes wide with a mixture of fear and curiosity. My hair fell in gentle waves around my shoulders, lips glossed faintly pink. I touched my face lightly and almost recoiled. This wasn't just a costume. This was me, or at least a version of me I had never dared imagine. Lila's hand on my shoulder startled me, grounding me and reminding me of her control. "Remember everything we practiced," she murmured. "Posture, walk, voice. And most importantly, confidence. You may be nervous, but you will not falter." I nodded, trembling slightly. My heels clicked against the wooden floor as I walked to the door. Each step was deliberate, weighted, precise. The sound echoed through the quiet house, a drumbeat counting down the moments before I would face the world. Outside, the world was brighter than I remembered. The sun glinted off car windows, people moved quickly along the sidewalk, oblivious to my terror. Lila guided me by the hand, subtle but firm, her presence both protective and commanding. I could feel her eyes on me constantly, ensuring I moved correctly, spoke softly, and remained poised. Our first stop was the small local cafe. The scent of fresh coffee and baked goods filled the air, mingling with the overwhelming awareness of being visible, exposed, and utterly different. As we walked inside, heads turned. People glanced at me with curiosity. Some whispered, some smiled, some stared outright. My heart hammered in my chest, and my cheeks burned fiercely. Lila guided me to a table near the window. "Sit," she instructed softly. I perched delicately on the chair, heels clicking. The chair felt too high, my legs awkward beneath me. I adjusted my posture as she had taught me, shoulders back, chin up, hands folded neatly on my lap. The sensation of being watched was intense, suffocating, yet strangely intoxicating. A few moments later, a man at the counter glanced my way and smiled politely. The warmth of his recognition sent an unexpected thrill through me. I looked down, feeling embarrassed and guilty for enjoying the attention. Lila's hand brushed lightly against mine under the table, a silent reminder that she controlled not just my body, but my emotions. We ordered drinks, and I fumbled slightly with the menu, my hands trembling. Lila corrected me gently, her touch lingering in a way that made my pulse spike. I felt humiliated and exhilarated at the same time. The dichotomy was dizzying. Every correction, every whisper from her, reminded me that I was no longer just a boy trying on a dress. I was a girl learning how to be. After the cafe, Lila guided me through a small boutique nearby. Mirrors lined the walls, reflecting my image again and again. I couldn't escape myself. The reflection stared back with soft eyes, smooth features, delicate curves, and the faint blush of newfound confidence. I practiced walking between the racks, heels clicking, posture straight, voice soft but steady. People glanced at me, some offering compliments, and I felt a strange warmth blossom in my chest. "Pretty," they said, "beautiful." The words lodged deep inside me, stirring emotions I didn't fully understand. Lila's control was absolute. She dictated every move, every step, every glance. Yet beneath the strict guidance, I felt an almost addictive thrill. The humiliation, the exposure, the praise, it was intoxicating. I was losing myself, and yet discovering a new self I had never dared imagine. Finally, we stopped by a small mirror near the boutique entrance. Lila held my gaze, her fingers brushing my cheek lightly. "Look at her," she said softly. "Really look. This is who you are becoming." I stared, and for the first time I didn't recoil. The girl in the mirror smiled faintly back at me. My chest tightened. Something fragile and thrilling was growing inside me. Acceptance, fear, desire, and curiosity all tangled together. The moment was broken by the sudden sound of laughter. A group of boys from school had entered the store, their eyes locking onto me. One of them paused mid-step and whispered something, pointing subtly in my direction. Heat surged through my face. My legs shook. I wanted to disappear, to retreat, to return to the safety of my room. But Lila's hand on my shoulder was steady, reassuring, commanding. "You will not falter," she whispered. "Stand tall. Move with grace. Be her fully." I obeyed, trembling, heels clicking with renewed determination. Each step was a victory and a surrender all at once. I was visible. I was exposed. I was her. And in that moment, I realized that nothing would ever be the same. As we exited the boutique, one of the boys from school approached, his expression a mixture of shock and recognition. "Wait, is that you?" he asked, eyes wide. My heart lurched. Lila's hand tightened on mine, guiding me forward. I realized with a mixture of fear and thrill that the world had begun to notice. And there was no turning back. The walk home from the boutique was a blur. My heels clicked against the pavement in a rhythm that matched the frantic pounding of my heart. Every step felt heavier than the last, not because of the shoes, but because of the realization that I was no longer invisible. The boy I had been, quiet and unseen, was slipping further away with each passing moment. Then, a familiar voice cut through the air. "Wait, is that really you?" I froze. My heart lurched violently, and my stomach twisted. I turned slowly, and there he was, Daniel, my old friend from high school. His eyes widened in shock, a mixture of recognition and disbelief. The boy I had been would have stumbled over his words, laughed nervously, and run away. But now, the girl in the mirror of the boutique seemed to have taken control, and my body moved without hesitation. Lila's hand on my arm was firm, guiding me subtly. "Don't speak first," she whispered. "Let me handle this." Daniel's gaze flitted from Lila to me. I can't believe it. Is that really you?" I swallowed hard. My lips trembled, and for a split second, I wanted to flee, to throw off the dress, the heels, everything, and become the boy I used to be. But Lila's gaze pinned me, a silent command that I obeyed without realizing it. "Yes," Lila said smoothly, her tone casual but authoritative. "It's him, well, her, now. He's exploring a new side of himself." Daniel blinked rapidly, still processing. Wow. "You look beautiful," he admitted, a faint smile breaking across his face. The words hit me like a jolt of electricity. Beautiful. Pretty. They stirred something deep inside me, a mixture of shame, thrill, and a strange, thrilling validation. I felt my cheeks flush and my breath catch. Lila's fingers brushed my shoulder, steadying me, and I realized how much I was leaning on her control, how much I needed it. She guided me down the sidewalk, heels clicking firmly, voice soft but commanding. "Walk. Confidence. You are hers fully." Each step was a battle between my old instincts and this new identity. Every glance from Daniel reminded me of the boy I used to be. Every compliment pulled at my fragile ego, yet every step forward in heels and skirt reinforced the girl I was becoming. When we reached a small park, Lila stopped and turned to me. "Do you feel it?" she asked. "The difference? The way people see you now? You aren't hiding anymore. You are visible, vulnerable, beautiful. And that scares you, doesn't it?" I nodded, unable to speak. Her words were a mixture of observation and manipulation, and I felt myself shrinking and expanding all at once. Vulnerable, exposed, and yet inexplicably powerful. Daniel followed us at a safe distance, watching silently. I could feel his eyes, curious and tentative, but not judging. There was comfort in that, a reminder that not everyone would laugh, that some people might see me and still accept me. And yet, the thrill of Lila's control was overpowering. Every movement I made, every small adjustment in posture or tilt of my head, reminded me that she shaped me completely. "Look at your reflection," Lila instructed, pointing to a small pond nearby. I glanced down and saw myself mirrored in the water. The girl staring back had soft curves, gentle features, delicate waves of hair framing her face. My heart ached with a mix of longing and fear. Could I truly be her? Was this really me, or just a mask carefully molded by Lila? "Step closer," she said. "Move like you belong in this body. Speak like you own your voice." I did. Every tremble in my limbs, every tentative movement, was corrected gently, patiently, and with an authority that made my resistance feel pointless. My reflection in the water seemed to approve, almost smugly, and I shivered. The encounter with Daniel ended with awkward smiles and hesitant farewells. He walked away, still glancing back with a mixture of awe and disbelief. As soon as he disappeared from sight, Lila turned to me with a soft smile that sent a shiver down my spine. "You see how the world reacts to her?" she asked. "They see someone new, someone exposed, someone beautiful. And now you have a choice: fight it or embrace it fully." My chest tightened. The thrill, the shame, the fear, all blended into a strange cocktail of emotion I couldn't separate. I realized that I had tasted the public attention, the humiliation, the power, and the validation. And I wanted more, even as I feared it. That night, alone in Lila's room, I traced my fingers along the fabric of the dress. A soft knock at the door startled me. Lila's voice whispered from the other side, "Tomorrow we go further. Public mall, full outfit, no hiding. Are you ready to become her completely?" I froze, my heart racing. The world was waiting, and I had no idea if I was ready or if I even wanted to be. The following morning, my stomach churned with a mix of fear and anticipation. Lila had promised that today would be a turning point, and I knew she was right. The mall was busy, filled with people I didn't know, and some I did. The thought of being seen, judged, and exposed made my chest tighten painfully. Lila had chosen a new outfit for me, a soft, sky-blue dress that hugged my waist and flared delicately around my knees. The fabric was light, silky, and impossibly feminine. She paired it with nude heels, delicate jewelry, and a subtle, shimmering makeup look that made my features softer, more delicate, and unmistakably feminine. I stared at myself in the mirror before we left, feeling a swirl of emotions I couldn't name. The girl staring back was beautiful, fragile, and confident in a way that terrified me. I barely recognized her, or myself. Lila's voice broke the silence. "You are hers," she said softly but firmly, "and the world will see her today. Every step, every glance, every word. Make her real." I nodded, trying to steady my trembling hands. The moment I stepped outside, the sunlight hit me differently, illuminating my dress, my hair, my presence. Each step on the pavement felt like a test, each click of my heels a countdown to judgment. The mall was overwhelming. People passed by, some glancing curiously, some staring outright. I felt exposed, vulnerable, and yet a strange thrill ran through me. Lila guided me through the crowds, her hand resting lightly on mine, steadying me while also asserting control. "Walk taller," she instructed. "Chin up. Smile. You are hers." I obeyed, every step an act of courage and surrender. My heart raced as whispers followed us. Some people recognized me from school, others just admired, and some looked confused. Each reaction sent a shiver down my spine, part humiliation, part excitement. We stopped at a clothing store, and Lila instructed me to try on a new outfit. As I walked into the changing room, a small group of teenage girls passed by, giggling and whispering. My face burned crimson, and I felt my legs wobble. I wanted to disappear, to escape into the safety of my room, but Lila's hand on my back pushed me forward. "You will not hide," she said softly. "She is here. Own her." Inside the fitting room, I struggled to remove my dress and step into a new outfit, feeling the eyes of strangers on me. When I emerged, Lila guided me to a full-length mirror near the store entrance. The reflection was overwhelming. I was undeniably feminine, slender, soft, delicate. But every glance from passers-by, every whispered comment, felt like a spotlight, and I could barely breathe. A group of young men entered the store, and one of them paused, staring openly. "Whoa, you look amazing," he said, voice tinged with disbelief. My face flamed, and I stumbled slightly. Lila's hand steadied me, her eyes locking with mine. "You like that, don't you?" she whispered. Her words were gentle, but carried a weight that made my chest tighten. That feeling of being noticed, of being desired. It's intoxicating, isn't it? I didn't answer. I couldn't. My body betrayed me, shivering, trembling, craving the attention even as shame burned deep inside me. Lila's control was absolute. She guided me through the store, instructed me to pose, to smile, to tilt my head just so. Each correction, each gentle push, reinforced her dominance. My humiliation became a twisted pleasure, a rush I couldn't escape. By the time we left the store, I felt exhausted, emotionally raw, and achingly vulnerable. Lila's hand on my shoulder was steady, grounding me, and I realized how dependent I had become on her guidance. She had not only shaped my appearance, but my emotions, my desires, my very sense of self. As we walked through the food court, I caught a glimpse of someone familiar. It was my old gym coach, someone who had known me for years. His eyes widened in shock as he recognized me. "Wait, is that you?" he asked, approaching cautiously. My legs trembled, and I felt an almost unbearable wave of shame. Lila leaned closer to me, her voice soft but firm. "Ignore him. Move like her. You are hers now. And she is not afraid." I obeyed, walking taller, moving with grace, heart pounding fiercely. The shame and humiliation were intense, but a part of me, the part that had first tried on the dress in secret, was exhilarated. I was visible, exposed, and undeniably feminine. That night, back in Lila's room, I collapsed onto her bed, exhausted, emotionally raw. Lila sat beside me, a small, knowing smile on her lips. "Tomorrow," she whispered, "we go further. Public event, full outfit, makeup perfected. Everyone will see her, and you will not hide. Are you ready to surrender completely?" I shivered, caught between fear, desire, and anticipation. The world was waiting, and I had no idea if I could or wanted to resist. The morning of the event, my nerves were taut, like a violin string stretched to its limit. Lila had been insistent. This was the moment when the world would see her, the girl I was becoming, fully and without compromise. My stomach twisted as I dressed in the ensemble she had carefully selected, a fitted pastel pink dress, delicate lace trim along the hem, sheer stockings, and elegant heels that made my legs feel impossibly long. As I stood in front of the mirror, Lila's hands adjusted my hair, applied the final touches of makeup, and smiled. "Look at her," she said softly. "Beautiful, strong, visible, and the world will see her today. No hiding." Her words, meant to reassure, made my chest tighten. I felt exposed already, every nerve on fire. The reflection staring back at me was stunning and unfamiliar. I didn't recognize the boy I had been. He was gone. The girl in the mirror moved her lips slightly, testing the soft voice Lila had coached me to use. It sounded natural, delicate, and horrifyingly right. We arrived at the venue, a small local fashion showcase organized by a community arts group. The room buzzed with activity, voices, laughter, and the clinking of glasses. Everywhere I looked, there were eyes, curious, judgmental, admiring. Panic surged through me. I wanted to vanish, to retreat to the safety of Lila's room. But Lila's hand gripped mine, firm and grounding. "Breathe. Walk in. You are hers now." I obeyed, each step deliberate, heels clicking against the polished floor. People turned to look. Whispers followed me as I moved through the crowd. A strange combination of humiliation and thrill surged inside me, making my pulse race and cheeks flush. Lila led me to a small stage area where models were being prepped. She instructed me to practice my walk, my turns, my posture. I faltered initially, wobbling on the unfamiliar heels, but her guidance was immediate. Yes, like that. Smooth. Graceful. Own her. Each correction, each small touch, was a mix of authority and intimacy. My body reacted, trembling with nervous energy, excitement, and shame. My reflection in the nearby mirror confirmed it. The girl I had been dressing as in secret had become real. She existed in this room, exposed, beautiful, and unmistakable. As the event began, Lila guided me onto the small runway. Flashbulbs popped. Cameras clicked. Eyes followed every step. My heart hammered. My legs shook. I felt every gaze like a physical weight pressing down on me. And yet, beneath the fear, something thrilling began to bloom. Compliments whispered from the crowd, subtle admiration in the eyes of strangers, the soft murmur of awe. It all created a heady mix of humiliation and exhilaration. I was both terrified and intoxicated by attention, every step reinforcing the duality of shame and desire. A familiar voice from the back of the room made me freeze. It was my college friend, Alex, someone who had known me before all of this began. He looked stunned, unsure whether to approach or retreat. My heart raced. Panic clawed at me, but Lila's hand on my back steadied me. Walk. Smile. Own her. I did. Each step became a declaration. I could feel my old self, the shy, hesitant boy, recede further. I was fully performing the girl, and in the eyes of everyone present, she was real. After the showcase, we moved into the reception area. People approached, complimented, and chatted with me. Each interaction tested my composure. I stumbled occasionally over words, corrected myself under Lila's watchful gaze, but each small success was exhilarating. I could feel my confidence growing, a strange, intoxicating mix of pride, fear, and dependency on her guidance. Lila's presence was constant. She smiled, corrected, and guided, blending control with affection. Every word, every touch, reinforced the transformation I had begun in secret, now fully manifest in the public eye. Later that evening, as we returned home, I caught my reflection in the hallway mirror. The girl staring back had grown in poise, elegance, and confidence. But beneath it all, a small, frightened voice whispered, "Who am I now?" Lila's hand rested lightly on my shoulder, her smile soft yet commanding. "Tomorrow," she whispered, "we begin the next stage. She will no longer just be visible, she will be desired. And you will learn what that means." The morning after the event, I woke with a strange mix of exhaustion, exhilaration, and apprehension. My legs ached from the heels, my muscles still stiff from yesterday's walks, but my mind was alive with the memory of the public attention. Every compliment, every glance, every whispered word lingered in my thoughts like a fire that refused to die. Lila entered my room with a soft smile, carrying a carefully chosen outfit, a delicate pastel blouse and skirt, paired with heels I could barely balance on. Her eyes scanned me critically. "You did well yesterday," she said, "but today we add another layer. You need to learn how to interact to connect." I shivered, unsure what she meant. By mid-morning, Lila led me to a small cafe near campus. The plan was simple. I would meet someone she had chosen for me. A boy, she said, who would help me learn the subtleties of feminine interaction, confidence, charm, the delicate balance between vulnerability and allure. I felt my chest tighten. Fear, curiosity, and a strange, guilty thrill collided inside me. My heels clicked on the pavement, each step a reminder of how far I had come and how exposed I was. When we arrived, he was already there, sitting at a corner table. Tall, kind eyes, gentle smile. Lila nudged me forward. "Go on. Introduce yourself. Be her." I hesitated, feeling awkward, vulnerable, utterly exposed. But as I approached, his gaze met mine, and the warmth in his eyes disarmed me slightly. "Hi," I whispered softly, voice trembling despite Lila's coaching. "Hi," he replied, his tone friendly and reassuring. "You must be, wow, you look amazing." The words hit me like a spark. Amazing. Beautiful. My face burned, and my legs wobbled in the heels. I felt exposed, vulnerable, and thrillingly alive. Lila's hand rested lightly on my back, her subtle pressure both reassuring and commanding. Conversation started slowly. My words stumbled at first, but he listened with genuine interest. He asked questions, laughed at small jokes, and made me feel seen. Not as a joke, not as a curiosity, but as someone real. Someone beautiful. I felt a strange bond forming, a connection that stirred emotions I didn't fully understand. There was comfort in his attention, validation in his admiration, but also a deep, unnerving tension. This boy saw me. Really saw me. And I wasn't entirely sure who I was anymore. Lila observed silently, her presence almost invisible but undeniably felt. Every touch, every glance, every correction was precise. She allowed me to interact, but she controlled the rhythm, guiding my responses, my expressions, even my laughter. "Notice how he reacts," she whispered. "The way he admires you. Learn it. Feel it. Let it guide you." I shivered. A part of me wanted to resist, to hide, to retreat into the boy I had been. But another part, a growing, terrifyingly compelling part, wanted to embrace it, wanted to see how far this could go. Hours passed in a mix of conversation, shared laughter, and subtle touches. Every time he complimented me, called me pretty, or smiled, I felt a rush of warmth, embarrassment, and desire. My cheeks flushed, my pulse raced, and I realized I was enjoying the attention more than I should. Lila's hand on my wrist reminded me of her control. "This is the lesson," she said softly. "Humiliation, desire, attention, they are all tools. And you are learning to wield them." I nodded, trembling. Every word, every smile, every glance from him reinforced the girl I was becoming. The boy I had been was fading, replaced by someone delicate, visible, and undeniably feminine. Later, as we left the cafe, I caught my reflection in a shop window. The girl staring back was poised, soft, confident in a way that was terrifyingly real. And yet, a small, frightened voice whispered, "Who am I now?" Lila's hand found mine, steadying me. "Tomorrow," she murmured, "we take it further. Public event, full attention, and the world will see her completely. Are you ready?" Alone that night, I lay on Lila's bed, heart pounding, thoughts racing. The memory of his smile, his admiration, and the intoxicating thrill of being seen collided with fear and doubt. I was no longer just exploring. I was becoming, and I didn't know if I could or wanted to stop. The day began with an oppressive mix of anxiety and excitement. Lila had been unusually quiet that morning, her eyes sharp and calculating as she prepared my outfit, a fitted lavender dress that flared delicately at the waist, sheer stockings, and heels that made my legs feel impossibly long. Her makeup was flawless, soft but commanding, accentuating every curve, every delicate feature of my transformed face. I stared at my reflection, heart pounding. The girl staring back at me was unrecognizable, elegant, poised, undeniably feminine. But beneath the surface, panic and fear churned. I had grown used to the private lessons, the controlled environment, the small audiences. Today, Lila had promised would be different. We arrived at the community center where a small local art exhibition was taking place. Friends, neighbors, and casual passers-by filled the hall, mingling and chatting. I felt exposed instantly. The warmth of my heels against the polished floor echoed in my mind like a warning drumbeat. Every glance, every whisper, felt amplified, magnified. Lila's hand rested lightly on my shoulder. "Remember," she murmured, "every gaze is a test. Every word is a lesson. She is yours completely. Do not falter." I nodded, trembling, as we walked through the crowd. Eyes turned immediately, some curious, some openly admiring, others skeptical. I felt the familiar mixture of humiliation and thrill, my chest tightening as the room became a stage for my identity. And then I saw him. Jason. My college rival, the boy who had always taunted me for being shy, awkward, and easily embarrassed. His eyes widened as he recognized me. "Wait, is that really you?" he demanded, voice loud enough to draw attention. My stomach dropped. My knees trembled. The girl I had become froze, caught in the spotlight of public recognition. The crowd noticed, whispers rippling through the hall. Every ounce of confidence I had built crumbled. I wanted to vanish, to throw off the dress, everything, and become the boy I had been. But Lila's grip on my arm was firm, grounding. "Do not falter," she whispered. "Walk. Smile. Own her. Show them who she is." Every step toward him was agony. My heels clicked sharply on the floor, drawing attention, amplifying the humiliation. Jason smirked, his expression a mix of disbelief and mockery. "Wow. I never thought I'd see the day," he said, laughter in his voice. "You actually look like a girl." Heat surged through my face, burning like fire. The shame was overwhelming, yet a small, undeniable thrill surged alongside it. Lila's hand on my back reminded me to move with poise, to respond with the soft, feminine voice she had coached me to use. I'm trying something new," I whispered, voice delicate, trembling. Jason laughed, a little cruelly. "New? You look amazing, actually. Can't believe it's you. Wait, are you serious?" The attention from the surrounding crowd intensified my humiliation. Whispers, laughter, curious stares, they all focused on me. I could feel the duality of my emotions, fear, shame, and yet a strange, intoxicating exhilaration. The public exposure was both terrifying and addictive. Lila's presence was a tether. Her hand on my wrist, her eyes meeting mine, reminded me that I was not alone, that she controlled the situation. "Do not let him see fear," she whispered. "Show her. Be proud. Own every step." I straightened my posture, lifted my chin, and took a deliberate step forward. Each click of my heels against the floor was a declaration. My voice, soft but steady, replied to Jason's teasing. "Yes, it's me. And I like who I'm becoming." The words startled even me. Saying them aloud, in front of everyone, solidified a part of my transformation. Jason's smirk faltered slightly, replaced by curiosity. Some of the surrounding onlookers whispered, impressed by my composure. After the confrontation, Lila guided me to a quiet corner, her hand steadying me. "Do you feel it?" she asked softly. "The fear, the humiliation, the thrill? That is power. That is control. And now you know what it feels like to be seen completely." I nodded, trembling. My body was a mixture of adrenaline, shame, and a strange pleasure I couldn't name. I realized that I had survived the confrontation, that the girl I had become had withstood public scrutiny. And yet, the experience had left me raw, exposed, and acutely aware of how fragile this identity still was. That evening, alone in Lila's room, I stared at my reflection in the mirror. The girl I saw had faced the world and survived, but a small, trembling voice whispered inside me, "Who am I really?" Lila's soft voice broke the silence. "Tomorrow," she said, "we go further. A full day in public, every eye on her, no hiding, no retreat. Are you ready to surrender completely?" I shivered. The world was waiting, and I didn't know if I could or wanted to resist. The morning sunlight filtered through the curtains, casting a soft glow over the room, but it did little to ease the tension knotting my stomach. Today, Lila had announced, would be the ultimate test. A full day in public from morning to evening, every eye on me, no hiding, no retreat. My heels felt heavier than ever, my nerves raw, and my mind a storm of fear and anticipation. Lila entered, smiling, carrying the day's outfit, a mint green dress that clung gently to my curves, sheer stockings, and sky-high heels that I could barely balance on. Her makeup touch-ups were precise, flawless, emphasizing the delicate features she had painstakingly cultivated in me. You are hers now, she said softly, almost reverently. And the world will see her. Every gaze, every whisper, every glance is part of the lesson. Do not falter. I nodded, swallowing hard, as my reflection stared back, confident, delicate, undeniably feminine. And yet, beneath that, a trembling, frightened part of me still clung to the boy I had been. The day began at a bustling downtown shopping street. Every step on the pavement, heels clicking sharply, drew attention. People stared openly, whispered, some smiled, others gawked. Panic surged in my chest, yet beneath it all, a strange thrill ran through me. I felt completely exposed, vulnerable, and terrifyingly alive. Lila's hand on my back was a constant anchor, guiding me, steadying me, commanding me without words. Walk.
Smile.
Own her, she instructed softly. Every movement was deliberate. The tilt of my head, the sway of my hips, the soft, feminine cadence of my voice as I answered casual greetings from strangers. I felt their attention as a physical weight, heavy yet exhilarating, pressing me into the role I had first tried in secret. By mid-morning, we entered a crowded cafe. Lila guided me to a seat in full view of the room. Eyes followed us, curious, admiring, judging. I felt my face burn, my pulse spike. Every whisper, every glance, pierced me like a spotlight. Then, a voice I hadn't expected. It was Alex, the boy I had bonded with during our last outing. He froze, recognition dawning slowly. "Oh, wow, it's really you," he said softly, eyes wide. I felt my heart thump violently. The vulnerability was overwhelming, but Lila's steady hand reminded me to move with poise. "Hello," I said softly, voice trembling slightly, but controlled. Every word, every movement, reinforced the girl I had become. The day continued in a blur. Shopping, cafe visits, casual interactions with strangers, even a brief walk through a crowded park. Each encounter tested my composure, pushed my limits, and forced me to rely completely on Lila's guidance. At one point, a group of teenagers recognized me from school. Whispers and giggles followed me as I navigated them all. My face flushed, my legs wobbled, but Lila's hand was there, grounding me. "Remember," she said, "humiliation is power. Learn it. Feel it. Let it shape her." And in that moment, I realized something terrifying and exhilarating. I was beginning to enjoy it. The attention, the whispers, even the stares, they were part of my new identity. A small, forbidden part of me craved it. By late afternoon, exhaustion hit me like a wall. My legs ached, my cheeks burned, my mind spun with conflicting emotions. Shame, thrill, fear, excitement, all collided into a dizzying storm. Yet, when I caught my reflection in a store window, I saw her fully, poised, elegant, undeniably feminine. The boy I had been was fading, replaced by someone delicate, visible, and completely exposed to the world. Lila's soft voice broke through my thoughts. "Do you feel it? The power of being seen? The thrill of being desired? She is yours now, completely. And you are learning to embrace her." I shivered, a mix of fear and desire coursing through me. That night, back in Lila's room, I collapsed onto the bed, emotionally raw and physically exhausted. She sat beside me, brushing my hair from my face. "Tomorrow," she whispered, "we begin the next stage. A public party. Full makeup, full outfit, full exposure. And you will learn what it truly means to be her." I swallowed hard, heart racing, knowing that my surrender was not just physical but emotional, psychological. I was no longer just exploring. I was becoming, and there was no turning back. The day started with a tight knot of anxiety in my chest. Lila had been unusually quiet, her eyes sharp and calculating as she prepared my outfit, a soft lilac dress, delicate lace at the hem, sheer stockings, and heels that made my legs feel impossibly long. Her makeup was flawless, accentuating the delicate features she had carefully cultivated in me. I stared at my reflection, heart pounding. The girl in the mirror was poised, undeniably feminine, but beneath that, fear and uncertainty churned. Lila's voice broke the silence. You are hers now. Today, you learn what it truly means to be seen and desired. She led me to a small cafe where a few familiar faces from campus were gathered for a casual meetup. My heart raced, nerves stretched to the limit. Every step I took in heels felt amplified, each one a reminder that I was exposed, vulnerable, and undeniably transformed. Lila's hand on my back was steady, grounding me while also reinforcing her control. The group greeted me with polite surprise. Compliments flowed, but one voice stood out: Alex. His eyes lingered on me, admiration and curiosity mixing in an intensity that made my chest tighten. You look incredible, he said, almost breathlessly. I barely recognize you. The attention was overwhelming. I felt my cheeks flush, my legs wobble slightly, yet every word, every glance, pulled me deeper into the role I had been cultivating. I laughed nervously at his jokes, smiled when he complimented me, and felt an unfamiliar rush of pride, shame, and excitement. Lila observed silently, guiding me with subtle touches and occasional whispers. Notice how he looks at her, at you. Feel it. Learn it. This is part of her power. A small part of me, the old boy I had been, wanted to hide, to retreat, to escape into safety. But another part, a part one hadn't fully acknowledged, craved the attention, the validation, the thrill of being admired as a girl. As the conversation continued, Alex suggested we play a casual game of charades. I felt my anxiety spike, knowing I would be in the spotlight. But Lila's presence anchored me. Every gesture, every movement, every laugh became part of my performance, a mix of charm, femininity, and vulnerability. When I stumbled over a clue, laughter erupted from the group. My face burned crimson. Yet Alex's hand lightly brushed mine in a comforting gesture, and my body shivered with a mix of embarrassment and exhilaration. Lila's soft whisper reminded me, humiliation is power. She is yours to shape. By the end of the game, I felt emotionally raw. Every laugh, every glance, every compliment had worn away the remnants of my old self. I caught my reflection in a cafe window, delicate, feminine, visible. The boy I had been was gone. In his place, the girl Lila had been shaping emerged fully, confident and exposed. Later, as we left the cafe, Alex lingered nearby, smiling warmly. I realized how much I craved his attention, how deeply I relied on Lila's guidance to navigate the overwhelming emotions coursing through me. Lila's hand rested lightly on my wrist. Tomorrow, she said softly, we step into the ultimate public challenge. No hiding. No retreat. She will be seen by everyone, and you will learn what it truly means to surrender. My heart pounded. Fear, anticipation, and a strange thrill coursed through me. I knew the next stage would break me and build her completely. The day was tense from the moment I stepped out of the car. Lila had prepared my outfit meticulously, a blush pink dress that clung to my curves, sheer stockings, and sky-high heels that made every step a challenge. Her makeup accentuated every delicate feature she had shaped over weeks of careful instruction. As I looked in the mirror, the reflection was undeniable, soft, poised, and feminine. My heart pounded, not just from the physical strain of the heels, but from the emotional weight of the day ahead. Lila's eyes met mine, sharp and commanding. You are hers, she said softly. Every gaze, every whisper, every word, she will see it all. And you will respond. Are you ready to surrender completely? I swallowed hard, trembling, and nodded. The venue was a large community charity gala, filled with people I knew and strangers alike. The room buzzed with conversations, laughter, and clinking glasses. My chest tightened as I realized how exposed I was. Every eye that turned my way felt like a spotlight, every whisper a test. Lila's hand on my back grounded me, steadying me while also asserting her control. Walk tall.
Smile.
Own her, she instructed softly. As I moved through the crowd, I felt the familiar mix of fear, humiliation, and an unexpected thrill. Compliments followed me, whispers brushed my ears, and some gazes lingered longer than I expected. I felt my body responding, trembling, shivering, my heart racing, not entirely from fear, but from the intoxicating attention. Alex appeared near the refreshment table, his eyes wide with admiration. The sight of him made my chest tighten. He approached, and our hands brushed lightly. Every touch sent a shiver through me. You look amazing," he said, voice soft but filled with awe. "I can't believe it's you." My face burned crimson. Lila's presence at my side reminded me to move with poise, to respond with the delicate, feminine voice she had taught me. "Thank you," I whispered, feeling a strange rush of pride and embarrassment collide in my chest. Throughout the evening, Lila guided me carefully. Every step, every gesture, every word was under her watchful eye. She corrected posture, refined expressions, and encouraged interactions, blending dominance with subtle care. When a group of acquaintances from my college recognized me, whispers rippled through the room. My face flushed, legs wobbling slightly. Yet I stood tall, smile steady, voice soft. Lila's whisper reminded me, humiliation is power.
She is yours now.
Let her feel it, and let her rise from it. The attention was overwhelming, yet I found myself enjoying the validation, the thrill of being seen, admired, and desired. The girl I had first tried on in secret had grown into a fully visible, compelling presence. By the evening's end, my body ached from heels, my mind spun with emotions, but the transformation was undeniable. I had surrendered fully to the girl I had become, and Lila's control had guided me into a public revelation that left me exposed yet exhilarated. As we left the gala, my reflection in a nearby window caught my eye. The girl staring back was poised, elegant, and undeniably feminine. The boy I had been was gone, replaced by someone delicate, visible, and fully shaped by Lila's guidance. Back in Lila's room, she brushed my hair from my face, her eyes soft but commanding. "Tomorrow," she whispered, "we test her in the most personal way yet. Intimacy, attention, desire, all will converge. And you'll see what it truly means to be hers completely." My heart raced. Fear, anticipation, and a strange exhilaration coursed through me. I had surrendered publicly, but tomorrow, I knew, would demand something far deeper. The evening began with a quiet tension. Lila had chosen the outfit, a soft, flowing dress in powder blue, delicate lace edging, and heels that forced me to walk carefully, gracefully. She meticulously adjusted my hair and makeup, every touch both commanding and intimate. "You are hers," she whispered, tracing a finger along my jawline. "Tonight, you will feel what it truly means to surrender. Emotionally, physically, completely." My chest tightened. The girl in the mirror was poised, undeniably feminine. But beneath that exterior, a storm of fear, anticipation, and forbidden thrill churned. I had faced the public before, but this was different, intimate, private, raw. Lila guided me to a quiet lounge area she had arranged. Candles flickered softly, casting shadows across the room. The atmosphere was intimate, almost sacred, designed to strip away pretense. My body responded instantly, nerves, desire, and a profound vulnerability I had never felt before. She seated me, hands steadying mine, eyes locked on mine. "Look at me," she instructed. "Every emotion, every thought, every tremble is hers to shape, and you will learn to embrace it." Her words were both soothing and commanding. I trembled under the weight of her gaze, every shiver, every flutter of my pulse magnified by the intimacy of the moment. She guided me through subtle exercises, adjusting my posture, softening my gestures, refining the delicate cadence of my voice. Each touch, each correction, blurred the line between fear and desire, humiliation and thrill. When she whispered, "Say it, tell me who you are now," my voice trembled. I'm her," I admitted, barely audible. Lila's lips curved into a satisfied smile. "Good. Feel it. Let her exist fully." Then Alex's voice echoed softly in my mind, a memory of his admiration, his warmth, his gentle touch during previous outings. The thought ignited a strange, exhilarating tension. I was caught between two worlds, the boy I had been and the girl I had become. The emotional surrender intensified, every heartbeat echoing the conflict, yet slowly pulling me deeper into her identity. Lila guided me to sit on a low couch, adjusting my posture, touching my shoulders, soft but commanding. She encouraged me to speak, to laugh, to respond, every interaction a subtle test of my surrender. My cheeks burned with embarrassment, yet I felt a strange rush of exhilaration. Hours passed in a haze of emotional intensity. Lila's dominance, her subtle care, her insistence on complete surrender broke down the last barriers. I laughed, trembled, and even wept, every emotion raw and unfiltered. The girl in the mirror was no longer a fragile experiment. She was real, visible, and undeniably present. When she whispered softly, "Look at yourself," I saw the reflection of someone completely transformed. Poised, delicate, undeniably feminine. The boy I had been existed only in memory. The girl, shaped by Lila's guidance and control, was fully alive. Later that night, as I lay on the bed, heart racing, I realized how deeply I had surrendered, emotionally, psychologically, and physically. Lila's hand rested lightly on my wrist. "Tomorrow," she murmured, "we face the final test, the ultimate acceptance or confrontation. The world, and she herself, will demand the truth. Are you ready to see who you truly are?" The day began with an unshakable tension. Lila had chosen the outfit for me carefully, a deep burgundy dress that hugged my curves, sheer stockings, and heels that made every step deliberate and precise. Her makeup highlighted my delicate features, giving me a presence that was both commanding and fragile. "You are hers," she whispered, adjusting a strand of hair. "Today, the world will see her, and you will decide who you truly are. There is no hiding anymore." I stared at my reflection, heart pounding. The girl in the mirror was poised, undeniably feminine, yet a small part of me, the boy I had been, still clung to memory, hesitant, fearful. Lila led me to a formal social event, a high-profile charity gala with influential guests, cameras, and a crowd that promised no anonymity. My chest tightened as every step drew attention. Whispers rippled through the crowd, some admiring, others curious, and a few judgmental. Alex appeared among the guests, eyes wide with admiration and surprise. The sight of him made my chest constrict. I realized how deeply I relied on the attention, the validation, the thrill of being seen. His gaze lingered, warm and inviting, and I felt a strange mixture of fear, longing, and exhilaration. Lila's hand rested lightly on my back, guiding me through the crowd. "Remember," she whispered, "every glance, every word, every gesture is hers to command, and you will show the world who she is." As I moved, every whisper, every stare amplified my vulnerability and my thrill. When acquaintances from college recognized me, some gasped, some smiled, others whispered. My face burned, legs wobbled slightly, yet I maintained poise. Lila's control was precise, blending dominance and subtle guidance, reinforcing the girl I had become. During the evening, Alex approached and gently took my hand. His touch sent a shiver through me. You look incredible," he murmured. "I've never seen anyone like you. You're beautiful." The words hit me in waves. Shame, pride, desire, and a strange sense of identity mingled. My heart raced. I realized that this affirmation, his admiration, made me feel alive in a way I hadn't before. Yet the memory of the boy I had been whispered faintly. "Who are you really?" Lila's soft voice broke through the turmoil. "Look at yourself," she whispered. "Decide. Are you hers completely, or do you cling to the past?" I caught my reflection in a polished surface across the room. The girl staring back was poised, elegant, undeniably feminine. The boy I had been felt distant, almost like a memory. The thrill of attention, The exhilaration of being desired and the validation of others all pushed me toward acceptance. But part of me still hesitated, trembling at the thought of surrendering fully. Could I truly let go of the boy I had been? Could I accept this new life completely? The tension reached its peak as Lila leaned close, her eyes sharp, commanding, yet gentle. Decide. She is yours. Every step, every glance, every word is hers. Will you embrace her completely? My pulse thundered. I felt the heat of embarrassment, the exhilaration of desire, and the strange, addictive thrill of being admired. And then, quietly, I whispered, I am hers. Lila's smile was soft, satisfied, and triumphant.
Good.
Now you will see the world, and yourself, without hiding. She is real, and she will be seen. Later, in the privacy of Lila's room, I stared at my reflection one last time that night. The girl I had become was undeniable, real, fully formed. The boy I had been existed only in memory. Fear, thrill, desire, and pride swirled inside me. I had surrendered fully, but the weight of my choice settled deeply. There was no going back. Returning home from the gala, I felt a strange mix of exhaustion and exhilaration. Every step in my heels had been a challenge, every glance from strangers a test, but I had survived. More than that, I had surrendered fully, publicly, and privately. The girl I had become was no longer an experiment or a secret. She was undeniably real. Lila's eyes studied me carefully as she guided me to my room. Look at her, she whispered softly. She is fully hers now, and the world will see her, just as you must. I caught my reflection in the mirror. The girl staring back was poised, delicate, undeniably feminine. My body, my movements, my face, every detail had been shaped by her guidance, by exposure, by surrender. The boy I had been existed only in memory, fading further with every glance. The following days were a whirlwind of adjustment. Lila continued to accompany me in public spaces, introducing me to friends, acquaintances, and even strangers, as if I had always been this way. Each interaction reinforced the new persona. I laughed, spoke, and moved as her, the girl she had shaped. Alex appeared frequently, his admiration unwavering. Every smile, every compliment, every soft touch reinforced the identity I had begun to accept. Each time he called me beautiful, my chest tightened, not with fear, but with an intoxicating mix of pride and desire. The process of adjustment was not without its challenges. Occasionally, glimpses of the boy I had been surfaced, a memory, a fleeting instinct, a lingering thought. But each time, Lila was there, her presence grounding me, guiding me, and reminding me of who I was now. I began to enjoy the attention, the thrill of being admired, even the small pangs of embarrassment. Being called pretty or beautiful became addictive, a confirmation of the transformation I had undergone. The humiliation, once so unbearable, had become empowering, reshaping my identity and perception of myself. Even mundane activities became tests and lessons. Shopping trips, cafe visits, and casual social interactions reinforced my feminine persona. Each step, each glance, each smile was now part of a performance that I both controlled and surrendered to. The boundaries between past and present blurred until the girl I had become felt more real than the boy I had been. One evening, as I looked at my reflection, a memory surfaced. Someone from my past, a friend who had always known the boy I had been, suddenly recognized me in a public space. Their gasp of recognition echoed in my mind, and I realized that my transformation would now face its greatest test, acceptance not just from strangers and admirers, but from the past I had left behind. The moment arrived unexpectedly. I was walking through a familiar street, Lila's hand lightly on my wrist, when I spotted someone I had not seen in months, Mark, an old friend who had always known me as the boy I once was. His eyes widened, shock and disbelief flashing across his face. "Wait, is that really you?" he asked, voice trembling slightly. The crowd around us, seemed to blur as my heart thundered. Every muscle tensed, a wave of fear and exposure washing over me. I froze, heels clicking sharply against the pavement, cheeks burning. This was the ultimate test. Not strangers, not public admiration, not even Alex's gaze, but someone who had known the past I had tried to leave behind. Lila's hand squeezed mine gently, grounding me. Her voice, soft but commanding, whispered in my ear. This is her final test. Every glance, every word, every thought show them who she is. Own her completely. I swallowed hard, trembling, and took a deliberate step forward. The girl in the mirror had faced public scrutiny, humiliation, admiration, and desire. She had survived, and now she had to confront her past. Mark approached slowly, eyes wide, searching my face. I can't believe it. You're really like this. Every word, every pause, amplified my vulnerability. The boy I had been felt distant, almost like a memory. The girl I had become, delicate and poised, stood fully visible. I realized that I no longer wanted to retreat, no longer wanted to hide. Yes, I said softly, voice trembling but steady. It's me. And this is who I am now. Mark's expression shifted slowly, from shock to hesitation, and finally to a tentative smile. You look incredible. I'm happy for you. The relief and validation washed over me. The girl I had become was accepted, not just by strangers and admirers, but by someone from my past who had known the boy I once was. Every step, every glance, every whispered compliment had reinforced this identity, and now it stood unchallenged, undeniable. Lila's presence was unwavering, her eyes soft but triumphant. She is real. And now, the world knows it. You have surrendered fully, and you are free. Over the following days, life settled into a rhythm. I moved through the world as her, delicate, poised, undeniably feminine. Alex's admiration continued, friendships deepened, and even those who had known my past began to accept the transformation. The mirror no longer reflected conflict. The girl staring back was confident, visible, real. The boy I had been existed only as memory, a shadow fading into the past. Fear, embarrassment, and doubt were replaced by pride, exhilaration, and an intoxicating sense of identity fully embraced. Standing in front of a full-length mirror, I adjusted my dress, ran a hand through my hair, and smiled softly. Lila's voice broke the silence. Look at her. She is yours. Fully. Forever. I realized at that moment that I had truly surrendered, not out of coercion, but because I had discovered a part of myself I never knew existed. The transformation was complete. The identity I had feared, resisted, and finally embraced was now permanent.